is the Culture Blaster. He is also the author of the Coastal Commuter column in the Marina Times. He is our window on culture, all things streaming, all things listening. He's Michael Snyder.
Hey, hi, gentlemen. Chuck Woolery needs to buy a clue, not a vowel. No, he needs to buy a clue.
Good line.
Hey, thank you.
Hey,
listen, dude.
Yeah.
Corruptapalooza 2016 rages on, but we still have to entertain ourselves, right?
Corruptapalooza.
I love it. Hey,
very good.
I actually agreed with you on one of your reviews from last week.
Oh, what was
What's
that?
the surprise there? Come on.
Palm
I've received
Springs.
a lot of positive letters.
Yeah, what's that? Palm Springs? Oh, you liked it?
I liked it. It was totally unexpected. I don't know. And then I have the problem of probably overselling it. So don't let me oversell it to anybody listening who's thinking about watching it. But I didn't expect it to be that good. So it was surprisingly very entertaining.
It's a comedy-ish, kind of weird Groundhog Day-ish thing going on with it. I watched some of it. I'll tell you, I'd take you right down and just cut you down to size right now, Michael Snyder. I did not like it. I didn't even watch the entire thing. I watched a half hour and Courtney couldn't take it anymore, so I took it off.
Oh, wow.
That's sad, and I'll tell you why. Because if you give it a little time, it grows on you. I can't.
Yeah.
And I've been sitting there glaring at you. You would have watched the whole thing. I promise.
That is
you
true.
would have enjoyed it. You would have enjoyed it.
Maybe you're right.
Courtney,
Maybe you're right.
Courtney's breaking my heart here. It's a very, very creative romantic comedy crossed with a little science fiction. I know you don't like the crazy sci-fi stuff, but hey, listen, before we go any
Anyway,
further,
but Brett really liked it. Yeah, go ahead. Before you go any further, go ahead.
That's good. No. My Coastal Commuter column in Marina Times this month is called This Sporting Half-Life, and it's about the trials and tribulations of Giants, Warriors, Niners fans in the middle of the pandemic, how we're going to deal with what Major League Baseball is attempting to do. And, oh, my God, the DH in the National League, it's an abomination. Every extra inning begins with a man on second. This isn't baseball. Abner Doubleday is freaking out in his grave. But, we've got to, keep our spirits up and hope that football comes back. The column basically addresses a lot of that. And check it out.
You're a die-hard Bay Area sports guy. So Giants, Warriors. You never really got into the A's, did you? Because you're too much of a Giants fan to get into the A's. Is that your thinking?
It's the American League. It's the DH.
Yeah, that's right. I knew it.
You're gonna. They're the enemy. I'll say it's very deep seated. It's very deep seated. My grandfather was a Philadelphia A's fan, a Philadelphia Athletics fan, and when they left for Kansas City, and the A's went from Philly to Kansas City, and eventually ended up in Oakland, my grandfather swore off baseball. He was furious about this. And I've held the animosity for all these years. It's handed down to me, buddy.
You're carrying it forward. Anyway, it's in the Marina Times, marinatimes.com. Check it out, the Coastal Commuter column from Michael Snyder. So Brett liked Palm Springs. I didn't like it as much. Maybe I should have stayed with it a little longer. I thought I gave it 35 minutes. But anyway, I love The Stranger, as you know, which was one of your recommendations on Netflix. It's really good. And once you watch one episode, you're up all night watching it. It's really, and that combination of those guys, they do. Now we've kind of watched a bunch of their stuff. They really do great stuff.
The filmmakers, the people who
Williams brothers, they're Harry and the other one. No, these guys are super talented, and I just want to reiterate that if people haven't seen The Missing, that's worth going to your streaming service and looking for it. Speaking of television, and we probably should stay on it, I am continuing to marvel at the magnificent, mind-twisting sci-fi complexities of Dark. In its third and final series on Netflix, it's a German drama. It's so hard to articulate it without spoiling what happens, but it starts off like Stranger Things. A kid goes missing, and then it becomes something far more kind of hard science, palpable, and yet at the same time extraordinary. And it's very, very, very complex because there are a lot of characters, and I swear to God, to watch it, and it is worth every second to watch it. I keep a
Wikipedia character list concordance by my side in case I'm like, hey, who's that? That's how elaborate this thing is. Dark is it's quite an achievement, and they had an end game in mind, Series 3, and it's playing out beautifully. I just want to encourage people. And again, I know you don't like superhero or sci-fi stuff, but if you
there are plenty of people to do, though. That's just my own bias against it. But yeah, you think it's worth a shot? I'll give it a look for sure. And where is it? And where can you see it?
Dark is on Netflix, but it requires your attention. You can't doze off, or you're like, "Oh, this is boring." It's really not. It's absolutely amazing. Okay, one more thing in the kind of genre end of things. Doom Patrol, which started on DC Universe, is a live-action rendering of DC Comics misfit superheroes and their shenanigans. It's thoroughly surreal. It is absolutely hilarious and twisted and heartbreaking. And it actually features, among other actors, Timothy Dalton as, you've seen the X-Men, whether you like them or not, Charles Xavier in a wheelchair overseeing these, kind of mutants who can't fit into society. Well, 6 months prior to the X-Men being created, the Doom Patrol was created at Marvel's rival, DC Comics, with a guy in a wheelchair, a scientist, who's trying to help these misfit superheroes who can't fit in the real world. So it's odd. It predates it briefly, but it's the same sort of theme. Timothy Dalton plays the leader of the Doom Patrol, the former James Bond actor. And
sure.
you get Brendan Fraser as the voice of, hang on to your hats, Robot Man. You get Matt Bomer as the voice of Larry Traynor, who has a very upsetting circumstance in his life, and a lot of really good supporting players that I'd not seen before. Doom Patrol moved from DC Universe after its first season to HBO Max, so it's one of the things you can watch there, but I would recommend, if you can, seek out Series 1. And finally, on the TV front, I really want to say how much I'm enjoying the reboot on HBO of the classic legal drama Perry Mason. And it's been reimagined in the hard-boiled milieu of the 1930s Los Angeles scene, same location, essentially, and circumstance as Penny Dreadful's City of Angels, but very different, much grittier, much more grounded in real life. And Matthew Rhys, who won the Best Actor Emmy for The Americans, is on the case as Mason, a private eye who will eventually become a defense lawyer. And you get Tatiana Maslany, who won Best Actress for Orphan Black in the Emmys, and the great John Lithgow, multiple winner. I mean, you can't even list them. There are so many awards this guy's had, and they are all really on point. And it's so beautifully evoked. It's 30s Los Angeles, shot in L.A., and I guess spruced up via digital magic and set dressing and the costume. Everybody's great, and it's deep and dark, and I recommend Perry Mason, but you have to be patient with it. Again, if you're going to be watching
my
for
God,
minutes,
Michael, with the patience. I don't have patience.
Hey, you need patience, bro. You need it.
That's probably
movies.
true.
Do we want to get to movies really quickly? We should get to movies.
Super fast. You've got 90 seconds. And I'm throwing you out.
I just want to recommend First Cow. First Cow is the work of a terrific director, Kelly Reichert, and she's made these movies that are kind of all about the American frontier. She did one called Beaks Cut Off, which was back in frontier times. She made Wendy and Lucy, a contemporary movie that's all about people like seeking their fortune out west. And this film is crazy cool. So this is back in the frontier times, and a frontiersman who's kind of a cook for hire finds himself in the Oregon Territory, and he's trying to make his way there. And he and a Chinese immigrant decide they are going to milk a cow that has been brought to this area by a very wealthy man. And, a cow and milk, that stuff is incredibly valuable on the frontier. And this wealthy guy is really angry because the cow's not giving milk, because these two guys are stealing the milk, baking biscuits, and selling them to all the sourdoughs that are in the area. And it seems very, very simple, but it's really a phenomenal piece of work. And obviously, these guys are playing with fire because, it's like stealing another man's steak, if you will.
Yeah, it's the Wild West, of course. Yeah, they're always playing with
Absolutely.
fire. What's the name of the film again? Sorry.
It's called First Cow. Toby Jones, a British actor, Ewan Bremner, another British actor, are the most familiar faces. But John Magaro stars as the cook, and Orion Lee as his colleague, comrade, henchperson. And you can watch this thing if you want via Vudu, Fandango, and Amazon Prime Video. Everything else is sort of like, check out some of these TV suggestions. This is not a big blockbuster weekend like last weekend, which featured the Charlize Theron, Tom Hanks, and Andy Samberg films. The third of which, Mark, you and Courtney should sit down and watch.
Yeah, Palm Springs. All right, I'll check it out again, I guess. But always interesting stuff. And, usually you're spot on. I was surprised that we didn't. But obviously you made it. Brett loved it. So there you go. He is our culture blaster, and you can read him in the Marina Times doing the Coastal Commuter column. He's Michael Snyder.
Have a great week.
You too, my friend.
Thanks.
Talk to you next week, and we'll talk to Pat and check social media next on KGO.